What is up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver our recap for the NPBF. I kind of recorded this spiel for the JLPC one as well, so I'm just going to give the one more go for this. Why not? So basically, the reason why videos kind of stopped for a little while here is I got really depressed. I got really stressed out by a lot of things. A lot of things were going wrong in life itself as a whole, and I just couldn't bring myself to record. I couldn't bring myself to upload the stuff. Like, I even had a lot of stuff recorded, and I didn't have the energy to even go as far as I couldn't go as far as like getting it uploaded, which was very depressing because I had a lot of fun with it. It was so much fun recording it all, and I've been having so much fun doing YouTube again, and I didn't have the motivation to really keep things going properly. But things are going well for me now. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I'm feeling real good. So I think now is finally time to get back into things and hopefully be able to get back on a more consistent basis. This weekend as well, you will see the beginning of our you'll see our PRD draft analysis coming up soon. I believe I'm going to have that upload on Monday. And our first week's match will go up next weekend. And then we have our UPA draft analysis that went up on Friday. And then our week one, which is going to go up Saturday into Sunday and whatnot with the T builder, and probably going to go up on Sunday. Realistically, I'm just going to have them both together. But it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun. So a lot of good things going on for us right now, draft wise. But here we are in the NPBF. We got some updating to do for you guys. We are currently in week 5. I'm actually going to be playing my week 5 game against Chris and the Tempe Toxtricity tonight. So you will see that next weekend. Uploaded as it's and it's usually scheduled time, but I gotta get things caught up first. So what I decided to do, and I'm doing this for JLPC as well, is I'm doing a bit of a supercut of the past several weeks to get everything caught up to where we are currently. So no in-depth team builders, no in-depth commentary on the battles, just going to be, here's the team, here's the match, and then any transactions that have happened in that time period, I will show those as well, and pretty much keep it as simple as that. So nothing too crazy. It's going to be a very, very straightforward video, just to kind of get everything updated appropriately to current time. So yeah, so for this video, we are going to be going over our matchups against the Auckland Ambipoms and the Windy City Boltstrikers in our week 2 and 3, as well as a brief discussion of what happened with our week 4 game against Gavino and the Venice Beach Victinis. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. We have our team here for our match against the Auckland Ambipoms. We have Jenga, the Stack Attacker, Mr. Puff, the Quillfish, Imhotep, the Cophagrigus, which, by the way, I'm currently rewatching the Mummy animated series on Peacock while I temporarily have that service. I got the trial so we could watch all the Harry Potter films. Then we just recently bought all the Harry Potter films from a flea market, so we didn't need it anymore, but we forgot to cancel it by the end of the trial. So, but it's been canceled since, and we still have it for 1 extra month. So I'm gonna try to binge through that, as well as, like, I think it's called Legend of the Dragon or Shadow of the Dragon or something like that, which was an old cartoon that I watched as a kid, and I might even watch the old Kong cartoon as well. So there's some cool stuff on there, but it's not really worth the extra money a month to keep it. It's just not worth it at all. But regardless, we have Imhotep the Cophagrigus, Spiky Burb the Zapdos, Hard, can my mouse click? I hate this wireless mouse. Hard Body the Reuniclus, and Springman the Hitmonlee. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at how the game went against the Auckland Ambipoms. And here we have our matchup against the Auckland Ambipoms. We see the Darmanitan, Melodic, Scizor, Nidoqueen, Licky, and the Vanillix. So let's go ahead and see how this one panned out. We lead Qwilfish here as he leads with the Vanillix. Obviously, I think he's going to go straight for a Freeze Dry, so I go into Stakataka, who tanks that, but it's clearly choice specs. We just go straight for a Stone Edge. Missed the Stone Edge. Stone Edge actually has a chance to 2-KO this thing, by the way. Would have been really cool to get that big damage off, force some, stuff happening. But we got to go into Qwilfish, and we do get burned, which sucks. So bad. We set up Spike here, though, as he goes into the Scizor. And now we go into Zapdos. Try to get the static, and we do. So everything's working out really well for us for the most part so far, besides the burn on Qwilfish. We go into Qwilfish. He has the own tempo, which is not that big of a deal, as he goes for the Heal Bell and gets for the Para on the Scizor. Set up another set of spikes, because why not, as he goes for the S-Toss here. Again, we can probably just go ahead and set up another layer of spikes here and not care, which is fine, as he goes for another Seismic Toss. He goes out into Scizor as we go for the Poison Jab. And right here, I'm going to be upset as he goes for Defog. So, that really sucks. Wasn't expecting him to be Defog Scizor, but probably could have. I probably should have. But we're going to go for the Heat Wave here as he goes to the Nidoqueen to get some damage off. Go for the Earthquake with the Springman. Going to knock off this thing's leftovers. We don't want him having leftovers. Don't burn me, please. Thank you. And then we go into Cofagrigus as he goes for the Recover. He Toxics me. We set up the Trick Room here. And he goes into Licky, and I'm just going to Memento and get out into Reuniclus. I'm just going to Iron Defense up here and just getting my setup going. And, of course, he has Hazel Melodic. So, pretty much my whole strategy with Reuniclus is useless. Sounds about right. As long as the Melodic exists, my strategy with it is useless. So, we're going to try to break this Licky, and that's just not going to happen. As he's just going to keep throwing up wishes and shit. So that's fun. That's fun. Playing this game really badly. We're going to go on hyper fast now. Because, yeah, it's just like that for a little while. I click Heat Wave a couple times. Click Discharge. I'm just kind of trying to chip this Licky down, and it's not getting anywhere. I'm not making any progress. He's Seismic Tossing me, and I'm roosting off the damage. And it's just a constant back and forth for several turns. I'll put it back to fast once it gets back to normal. I Heat Wave as he goes into Nidoqueen. I roost here as he goes for Ice Beam. Going into Hitmonlee on the Ice Beam. So, let's go over that last couple turns, right? Going to Hitmonlee on an Ice Beam. Take a decent chunk of damage. Go for the knockoff again, and then go for Close Combat, and I get a crit on the Melodic as the Melodic Toxics me. Then he goes into the Scizor, and I crit the Scizor with Earthquake before my Hitmonlee goes down to the Poison. So I've gotten a lot of his members down real low-like. So we're not really in the driver's seat at all, but we're getting there. So I go into Stakataka as he sets up a Wish here. And he goes into Melodic as I just go for Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam is able to take out the Melodic, which is really good for us, and we get the attack boost. He goes into Darm. Flare Blitz is going to be enough to KO us, which really sucks. And go back out to Zapdos. Go for the Discharge. Of course, he goes into the Nidoqueen. I'm just going to Heat Wave it and get it weakened. He goes for the Shadow Ball, and that really sucks for him to reveal that he has Shadow Ball, because that makes it so that I can't really set up in front of this thing with Reuniclus. And he's just going to spam Ice Beam until I slip, and I'm going to just go ahead and hit him with the Heat Wave here. Reuniclus comes out. The Shadow Ball's a 2-KO. I go for the Calm Mind here. I can't really recover off enough. Flare Blitz does too much damage, so I click the Iron Defense here just in case, but it just does too much damage, and he's able to take me out with the Darmanitan. So that is our Week 2 match. You're going to go into some transactions, and hopefully those will help us in our Week 3 match. So after that horrible matchup against the Ambipoms, we determined that we weren't going to wait until the end of the divisional games to make changes to the team. So we decided to drop Glacier, Hitmonlee, and Quillfish to pick up Kenshiro, the Rapid Strike Urshifu, Death Drop, the Drapion, and Le Champion, the Shiny Ribombee. So hopefully these new team members will be able to start getting our team in the winning ways. We'll find out soon. So after getting those new members to the team, we are here in week 3 taking on Anthony and the Windy City Boltstrikers. Now, I still wasn't confident with my team, so I will personally admit I did not do the best team build for this matchup that I should have. I brought certain things specifically because I knew that it was going to be their last week with us. They were going to be leaving very shortly afterwards, so I brought them simply for that reason, because I wanted to use them before they left. So, not the best build I could have gotten. I definitely 100% could have done it a lot better, but it is what it is. I wasn't really too bothered about it, and we do have the rematches later this season, which I will take much, much more seriously. But we do have our boy Kenshiro, the Rapid Strike Urshifu. We have Spiky Burb, the Zapdos. Jenga, the Stakataka. Bold Strategy, the Slurpuff. Tallboy, the Alolan Executor. And Budweiser, the Mudsdale. So, with that, let's go ahead and show you how that matchup played out. And here we are with the battle for our Week 3 against Anthony and the Windy City Boltstrikers. He brought the Galarian Darmanitan, Heatran, Rotom, Wash, Nidoking, Celebi, and the Pangoro. So let's go ahead and see how this one panned out. Put it on fast. Mudsdale leads against Celebi. I did not expect him to stay in immediately. I expected him to U-turn out, so I went for my rocks. Unfortunate here. So I went for the Toxic here on the Rotom switch in. So he's going to defog my rocks away, but I'm going to click the rocks again anyway, because fuck you. And then it forces him to take me out with the Hydro Pump. But now I can go into Alolan Executor and kind of threaten this thing a little bit. He goes for the Volt Switch, and I'm just going to go straight ahead for the Power Whip after my Trick Room. Actually had a chance to KO it if it wasn't too bulky, but unfortunately it was very bulky and was able to take me out with the Ice Punch. But I get the Body Press off and my defense boost in the Trick Room with my Stakataka. Stone Edge misses out on the KO on Rotom, but it misses the Will-O-Wisp, which is very huge. I'm going to be able to take it out with another Body Press. He goes into Nidoking, though. Obviously, this thing is a threat, and immediately I'm fucked. He goes for the sub here. He's going to hit me with the Ice Beam, and it's going to knock me down really low, but I'm going to be able to land the Hurricanes and get him down pretty weak, as I'm going to be able to take him out now with Kenshiro and his Surging Strikes. So I go into Slurpuff here as he goes for the Leaf Storm. I get my Citrus Berries, and I'd be faster than him. I did not expect him to click Leaf Storm again at that point in time. Him clicking Leaf Storm again there was kind of wild. I expected him to switch. 100% expected him to switch. So I predicted that, and I got it wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. So I expected him to go hard Heatran at that point, and it was very unfortunate that they didn't. Now he goes into Heatran as I go back into Slurpuff. He's going to tank Psychic, and I'm just going to die to the Magma Storm. Going to Urshifu, trying to set up a sub in front of him, but he's not going to let it happen. Of course he's not. Why would he? I'm just going to take him out with the Close Combat. But it is at this point in time that Celebi obviously is just... It's going to Earth Power, it's Scarfed and whatnot. It's just going to take out both of my last 2 months. So we do lose there in week number 3, but let's go ahead and go into week 4 and discuss what happened there. So as expected, that matchup did not go particularly as well as we'd hoped. Partially due to some members that didn't need to be there being there, but also partially because it's just Still not comfortable with the team yet. Still not feeling it. So hopefully after these transactions, we will start to be feeling the team a lot better. So we decided now, going into our Week 4 matchup, we decided to drop the Alolan Executor, Slurpuff, and Cofagrigus. And we are picking up Hefner, the Lopunny, Imposter, the Lurantis, and Regizard, the Regidrago. So hopefully these new additions to the team will be able to carry us to our first win of the season, which is weird to say because usually I'm one of the guys that's like near the top of the league at this point, but I'm actually near the bottom and threatened to be potentially going to D-League if this continues. So let's try to prevent that, shall we? Let's move on to our next matchup. And on to our next matchup is what I would like to say if, well, there was a matchup to give. So, what happened was a couple things. One, the match got scheduled for the Sunday. Well, normally, Sunday is fine for me. However, there were a couple factors that made this Sunday not so much fine for me. One, I was visiting my dad for the weekend. My dad moved. He got himself a new house. I helped him move. I spent the weekend there. I made a quick trip into my old hometown to visit some family because they had the Christmas presents there, and I just wanted to see some people because I had a little bit extra time in the schedule for the weekend, which I just didn't really have a lot of time anyways to work with, but, so, and I was driving all day that Sunday afterwards. I didn't actually get home until about 7:30, and once I got home, I wanted to spend time with my fiance, because the Sunday in question was Valentine's Day, which I did not remember, because, frankly, when you're depressed, all the days kind of meld into one, especially when every single day is the same thing, and you just don't really have any actual, when nothing changes in your day-to-day life on a daily basis, it's pretty hard to remember what day or date it is. So I firmly admit that I forgot Valentine's Day was coming up. So I did schedule the game for that Sunday night, and by the time the night started coming to a close and we would have potentially played the game, I was trying to spend time with my fiance as much as possible because I didn't see her all weekend. And it was Valentine's Day, and I wanted to spend some time with her, as well as I just couldn't. I was tired. I couldn't play a game. So, unfortunately, the NPBF does not have an extension policy. Extensions are not a thing that they do yet. That is something that I plan to implement for sure going forward, because I recognize real-life things are a thing. I'm going to obviously provide limitations to it so that it can't be taken advantage of too much. But, so I wasn't able to get an extension for the game because I definitely would have been able to play it, and I would have really loved to play it because I felt like I had an incredibly strong matchup, and this would have been our first win of the season, but unfortunately, I did have to forfeit the game to Gavino, but I'd still like to show you the team that I built real quick, and this is actually one that I'm going to give a little bit of explanation on, mainly just because of the simple fact that I really felt like this was a matchup that I could win. Now, obviously, we will never know, but I still feel like I want to give my reasoning behind certain things. So, we have Choice Band Kenshiro, the Rapid Strike Urshifu, because Bandit Urshifu nukes almost everything on his team. He would have to have Fizdef Seismitoad with Water Absorb to try to stop me, but Close Combat is still a 2 KO. And pretty much everything else just dies on switch into this thing. Calyrex would die to a U-turn and is also slower than us, unless he was Scarf Calyrex. He wouldn't be able to stop this thing. And just in case Nihilego got out of hand, the Bandit Aqua Jet guaranteed one-hit KOs Nihilego as well. So pretty much this thing had a good chance to OHKO or 2-hit KO pretty much every member of his team without any real issues. So, would have been really nice to utilize that. Then we have Budweiser, the Mudsdale, especially defensive with the Rindoberry. This was my immediate switch in to Nihilego because with the new Power Meteor Beam set, it can get that free +1 special attack. But this thing eats the +1 Meteor Beam into a Grass Knot thanks to the Rindoberry, and then OHKOs it with Earthquake. So this thing was basically like an immediate check to Nihilego to stop it from ever starting doing what it wanted to do. Also had Stealth Rock, Toxic, and Protect, just to kind of mess with the rest of his team. Pretty straightforward, nothing too special. We have Choice Specs, Regizard, the Regidrago, Dragon Energy, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, and Dragon Breath. The reason it is all Dragon moves is because he doesn't have a Fairy type on his team. He does not have a Fairy. Which means I just click, I get in front of something I'm faster than, and I just click a Dragon move, and something dies. Choice Specs Dragon Energy from Modest Dragon Regidrago actually has an incredibly good chance to 2-hit KO a standard build for an Eviolite Chansey. That is correct. I can 2-hit KO Chansey. Chansey cannot switch into this. And if Chansey can't switch into this, nothing on his team switches into this. If he switches into this, it dies to Dragon Energy, as long as I'm at high enough HP. So, pretty much, this thing would have just beat him down regardless. And once Chansey was gone, I wouldn't have even had to click Dragon Energy, even though it's not my best bet. But Choice Specs, Dragon Pulse, and Draco Meteor just pretty much destroyed everything else anyway. So, this thing pretty much was designed to kill his whole team. Unfortunately, we weren't able to use it. And we had Stack Attacka, which I forgot to nickname, but you know it's Jenga. All caps, 2 exclamation points, would love that. This thing had a very specific EV spread, designed pretty much to deal with Kyurem Black. With the Shukaberry and whatnot, we lived anything. This thing lived any other hit from Kyurem Black, and then all of those hits into an Earth Power from Kyurem Black. We lived all of those things, which is nice. And then we were able to set up a Trick Room, and then be able to break through him with either Body Press or we'll kill him with Gyro Ball, and then we would be getting defense boosts, so our Body Press would become so strong that it'd be, nuking everything else. So this thing really had a good chance to counter the Kyurem Black, since Kyurem Black couldn't Dragon Dance either, so it would have been really nice to utilize, see if this set would have worked. I was excited about it, but unfortunately, again, real life just got ahead of me, and it happens. Next up, we have Hefner, the Lopunny, Klutz with the Toxic Orb, Fake Out, Dig, Switcheroo, and U-Turn. Dig was pretty no drawback because he doesn't have any mons that are above the ground, so no matter what, it would have been able to do damage. I'm also faster than Nihilego naturally, so unless he was Scarf Nihilego, he wouldn't be able to hit me before I went down for the dig, so it was either stay in with your Nihilego and die to the dig the next turn, or he has to forces his Nihilego to switch out, which I thought was pretty interesting, because I don't think he would protect onto Nihilego. I don't think he would ever see this coming. So it would have been really cool to try that out. Again, I was really heavily prepped to deal with Nihilego, 100%. So, would have been interesting to see if I could pull it off. Fake Out, chip damage, Switcheroo, so I can give something the Toxic Orb thanks to Klutz. I don't get bothered by it, so I'm not going to get toxic myself. But he has things like the Dusclops. He has the Chansey. Pretty much anything on his team doesn't appreciate being given a Toxic Orb, except for Nihilego. Nihilego wouldn't care, obviously, but I could just Switcheroo and just take their Eviolites or whatever item they have that they're really, really needing at that time, and then instead just give them a Toxic Orb and ruin their entire life. And then U-Turn because momentum. And then last but not least, we have Hard Body, the Reuniclus. Physically defensive Reuniclus with a decent amount of speed, because he has a lot of really slow Pokemon. So I ran that speed so they could outspeed those. And it's just Subcombine, Psyshock, Focus Blast. Pretty much that combination of moves hits everything on his team. So super effectively or neutrally, except for Calyrex, which Calyrex I don't consider a Mon. It's basically an Unmon. But this set would have been able to sub up on stuff like Dusclops or Chansey because it does not have its sub popped by Seismic Toss or Nightshade. So I would have been in a really good spot to sub and set up in front of both of those Mons. And I'm sure at least one of them would have shown up to the matchup, and then I would have potentially been able to sweep from there. So would have been interesting to see if that would have worked out again, but such is life. I don't get a rematch against Gavino, so I won't be able to use any of these sets, but now they're out there in the world, so y'all can make the assumptions necessary for those. But yeah, that is going to conclude this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully now, going forward, we will be able to keep consistency going with our recordings and our matchups and whatnot, and keep everything nice and neat and proper every week. So thank you all again once again for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.